to Kate's Egg. Today I am in the Swather with Uncle Chris. So thank you, Uncle Chris.
You've already experienced that.
Well, yes, last year, which was quite fun.
Everything's the same, except the crop isn't as good this year.
No, and that's very sad. I was looking at the Durham field and it's almost non-existent.
That's true. They're supposed to come out and adjust it. They haven't yet. I have to call it.
So this is the first pass in a new field.
That's what I do when I get up on the wrong side of the bed. I pick someone to complain about it.
That's hilarious.
I really don't do that. I used to, but I don't anymore. I've grown up.
Do you enjoy swathing?
Actually, I sort of do. When I don't have to work on it all the time, it's sort of fun. I've been swathing at night until midnight for the last 10 years.
Wow, that's a long day.
Everything seems to run better at night. It's sort of, I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just more focused and it's not all the distraction. But I've had lots of company because there's a custom swather out there, swathing shapers, and they swath all night.
Oh wow!
I wondered how they got so much done. But that's how they get it done. They have GPS on theirs, so if you look at it, they can read the newspaper while they're swathing. They just set it and go.
We can't do that.
No, we don't do that. This is an old swather. We actually need 2 of them. I don't know why. We should have bought another one. We usually hire some a little cut, but the crop is hardly good enough to justify hiring any cut this year, so we have to slog on through probably.
Yes. That's really sad. Is this one of the worst crops you've seen?
Yeah, it's one of the worst crops I've ever had, yeah, overall, in all my years of farming.
What are you doing right now?
Well, I hear some belts being, might be that dirt.
And how do you tell how high to cut? Just like straight cutting, look out the side?
Oh yeah, it has a gauge, but it's at header height too, and I don't know what that means. It's just a setting, but I cut high enough to get all the stuff. See, I can't get any lower on this header. We can see we're leaving a little bit on this edge.
Yes.
Because the field's tippy.
How wide is the header?
35 feet. A lot of people do 40s, but this is old. I've got about 50,000 acres with it. So,
really? That is so cool. It's been about a year since I've been in the Swather, almost exactly.
Almost exactly. Was it about 25th, 26th last year when I started across the road?
Ooh, I don't know for sure. I'll have to look.
Pretty close to it. Might have been a little bit earlier, actually. No, I'm not listening to the other one. See, that one's dragging down the dirt.
Oh, yeah. In the dirt here.
I might just have to do, come over on the second round so I can pick that up. Because otherwise I'll break that header on this side.
Last year we spoke quite a bit about sawflies. Have you seen that they're a problem this year?
Yep, they're still there. That's why we're trying to get ahead of them. I don't know, it doesn't seem like there's quite as many, but it's hard to tell because the wheat's, well, about the same stage. It doesn't seem like there are as many as last year, but there still is some because the stuff out east, it was thin, and any place is thin, then it falls down sooner because there's nothing to hold itself up.
Yes. Have you had any breakdowns this year?
Oh yeah. Every day we have something. Just you're working in the dirt, so you have to change guards and things and whatnot.
Well, I guess that's farming.
Yeah, that's just normal stuff. That's why swathing does all the dirty work for the combines. We have less trouble with the combine since we started swathing because the swather's in the dirt for the combine.
And then the combines aren't eating rock. Is there any coulees in this field you have to swath out?
I don't think there's any I'm going to swath out. I think it's fairly flat. So.
Was this field summer fallow last year?
chem follow. That's different from summer follow.
How does it differ?
Well, summer follow usually physically use a duck foot or a disc.
Oh, plow the weeds rather
Yeah.
than spray them.
Yeah. And the long picture thing, chem follow, is a lot better for the ground. You build organic matter and it doesn't blow.
Really?
Yeah, it's a lot better than summer follow.
That's very interesting.
It's a better farming practice. And
But-
if you have to disc or plow, you've already done something wrong.
So organic farmers can't do that though, right?
No, but they don't use big strips. They control the amount of blowing by using narrow strips, 20 rod strips or so. We used to have all 20 rod strips when we summer followed, and it still blew in the winter. That's why, you know, when you straight cut, you have all those humps in
Yes.
the field, because it would blow to the height of the stubble. So now we have all those humps in the field. Every 20 rods there's a hump where filled the stubble full. That's why there's all those things. And they're less than they used to be because we farm across them. But
Yes. But I have noticed that.
yeah, every all the way around here, those little narrow 20 rod strips, everybody had them. And that was because they're trying to control the wind from blowing the dirt away. So
Deer right there.
you won't see it, maybe you will. When I was driving with Linda and David Fry, our cousins, we saw 11 white-tailed bucks in a group
Really?
with horns in the velvet. There were 2 or 3 fairly nice ones, and then there were quite a few little ones. But that was real interesting because I'd never seen that many in it. I'd never seen over 2 or 3, I think, ever together. But there were 11 of them laying in a wheat field.
I can't believe that.
When I used to summer follow at night a lot, when we got behind, I'd leave the yellow lights on in my vehicle so I knew where it was. I mean, so you could be orientated a little bit, because it's easy to get confused.
Definitely.
The stars have been really neat the last couple nights, though. It's been really clear and really bright. So
It's interesting to me that you've had better luck swathing at night than during the day.
oh, I don't know if it's better. It's just that I just haven't been lucky and haven't broken down. We don't cut weed at night very much because our experience was that you spend more time fixing things in the morning that you break at night than you made progress. So,
That makes sense.
I've been working late because I want to get this horrible experience over with. That's what all our neighbors saying. They're just so glad harvest is coming because they want to see this year in the rear view mirror.
So true.
They look at that Durham.
Yeah, there's nothing there basically. This is really sad because we were pretty much in a drought last year too as well, right?
Well, it was real dry, and then we didn't get any moisture to get everything up. So we had a few showers end of June, and my chickpeas that I seeded in March, some of them are just sprouting and coming up. They've been laying there all summer. So
Oh no.
I was surprised. I drove out there. Geez, that's green, and here it's all chickpeas. I was scared it was weeds. So, but it's too late in the season to do anything. So
That's terrible. What would be average moisture for Montana a year?
in this area, the average moisture in our growing area is 12 inches, and that's not rain. That's including snow and everything. So we're considered a semi-desert.
Yes. And how much moisture would you say we got this year?
Oh, less, maybe in 2 inches. I don't know, since March. I don't know.
Oh, really?
I don't know if we've gotten that much, and it depends. The wheat down north is 3 inches shorter than this. It's drier down there too than even here. So
That's awful. And really tough for small farmers just trying to get by and keep the farm in the family for future generations.
well, that's why this farm doesn't have all brand new equipment.
Yes. For years like this.
Yes. When my father came out on the farm, he had bought a My grandfather had bought a new Cat 30, and it was really nice and new, and my dad was running it. It was really nice. And my grandfather told him, well, you can work for yourself or you can work for your equipment dealer. You have to sort of make a decision, meaning you can have brand new equipment and make a lot of payments, or at the end of the day have a little bit of money saved. So
Yes.
no, he's always chosen that. So, and it's rubbed off on us.
That makes a lot of sense.
You work more on your equipment, but I don't know, our neighbors have brand new stuff, and it seems like the John Deere mechanic is always out. The mechanic is always working out on the brand new stuff too, but it's all warranty work for them, so you know.
Yes. So Chris Jensen said that?
Yeah, he said you can work for the equipment dealer or you can work for yourself.
And he homesteaded our farm in 1912.
Maybe 11. I'm not sure. 1911, 1912.
We'll go with 1912.
Well, I'm going to go with 1911.
Just to be different and make it tough. Of course you will.
Well, we have a sign for the schoolhouse that says 1911, and there's one I think that said 1912.
So I think in the middle of the night I'm going to take your side down and put mine up.
It actually had about 5 seconds or about 5 minutes of showering last night. I thought it was going to shower enough to shut me down, and then it quit. But
I know you.
Thunderstorms.
You only get rain when you don't need it.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I'm not going to turn rain down anytime because we want to be able to seed winter wheat. Yeah, so that's why the crop, they didn't get up in the fall. Farther east on the bootlegger, there must have been moisture because they had some really nice crop stuff, the stands. They got them up, it got up and growing. And
Did any of the reseeding help?
not really. Maybe a little bit. I don't know, some of the fields. But it's all real green. That's why see, like we just swathed through that real green spot. That's the stuff that came up with the reseeding, and it's not gonna, we're just swathing it down. If I wait for that to get enough to swath, then this will probably be falling down on softfly, and I'd lose more than that little teeny bit.
And you want to even them out to harvest.
Yeah.
Does harvest go faster when you have less crop, or about the same time?
Oh, I don't know if it goes. It goes. It's hard to say. There's nothing like a full combine to run smooth. When your combines start running it half empty, they don't like that, so they don't run all that well.
Right. Would you say this is a detrimental year for the family farmer just trying to get through?
In this area, it's absolutely detrimental because we have higher prices. This would be a good year to have a good crop.
Yes. Oh,
It's
for sure.
It's a real shame. The people that have a good crop are going to do well this year. Well, of course, everything went up with it, so it won't be as much as lay people think. People that they say, well, wheat's $8, but they forget that the fertilizer was $900 a ton. I think that I know what that is now.
Oh, what was that noise?
It's the air conditioner belt on the compressor.
Oh. So is this your lever for speed?
Yeah.
And
it is.
And then you have the buttons, but the buttons aren't labeled. Does that make it hard?
The first day it makes. Usually I put a piece of tape or something, so I remember, but I've been on it enough hours now that I sort of know it. So, but the first time, every time I first start out, I have to think about it, and sometimes I make mistakes. Actually, I need to pull that back a little bit.
So those buttons mostly control the header height and the reel height?
Yep.
As well as the reel speed?
Reel forward. The reel speed is this thing right here.
Oh, okay.
And the draper speed, because that thing, you have a speed for the draper, and it's right here, rabbit and turtle.
Well, that makes it simple then.
Yeah, so once you get used to the controls, they sort of become automatic a little bit.
Yeah.
See, I'm overlapping because I couldn't get that stuff because I had to have it a little bit higher. I didn't run in the dirt in the road there. For as much as I'm gaining, I don't know if it's good word.
And the swaths are always more puffy looking until they settle down.
Yeah, and then they settle down almost. See, I'm going to swath this round and round. When I get down north, though, I'm going to swath that back and forth because I don't want to go across the furrows because I'm going to have to swath really low, a lot lower than here. This is pretty low, too. I'm swathing a little bit lower than I did out of the bootlegger because the Swede is shorter, a lot shorter.
Hopefully we're able to come out of the drought.
Yeah, we'd like to get some, I don't know how much winter wheat we'll seed, because we really haven't had any moisture this summer to speak of. And we've had so much wind, you get, 2 inches doesn't go very far when you've had weeks and weeks of 30, 40 miles an hour wind.
Yes, that's Montana for you.
Yeah, I think it's been windier than normal though.
Is driving the Swather a lot more difficult than straight cutting in the combine? Does it drive differently?
I think it's probably about the same, except for the combine, rocks go into the machine and here it goes through, so it's not as, I think the combine might be a little bit more stressful, especially in short stuff. It's more stressful than the Swather and short stuff, because you have to worry about the rocks going into the machine.
Yes. What speed do you usually drive?
I'm driving about 5 miles an hour, depending on how rough and what the conditions are. If things start going fairly good, I go about 5.5, maybe between 4.5 and 5.5. You get going much faster, it starts stripping a little bit. Plus, if you hit a rock or something, it'll break it. Where if you're going slower, it'll just, bounce over it sometimes.
Yes, you want to treat the equipment well.
Because you don't want to walk. I'd rather go a little bit slower and work on it less than go fast and have to work on it.
Yes.
We used to have a hired guy that used to get a lot done. He was a real good guy, but he used to go really fast, but he was working on it a lot too. He got a lot done because he put in a lot of hours. It makes a difference. Austin's been running it during the day from about 7 to 6:30, and I've been getting on work until about midnight. So.
Has he been doing well, or was there a big learning curve?
No, he did pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with it, actually. I was a little bit uncertain.
That makes sense, and it's always tough learning different
Yeah.
things on the farm.
And I'm not necessarily the best teacher sometimes. I forget to tell people things because I know it. I just, you forget to. So.
No, you're a great teacher. You taught me how to drive tractor.
See where? That's what I mean about the rock. They're going real fast. They might have broke something. Instead, it sort of bounced up over it. So.
Yes.
Kate says she's going to buy me a rock picker for my birthday.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you did say that. So. And my birthday just passed, and I've been. So, did you bring one back from Denmark with you? When's it arriving?
I was having it shipped over, but it seems to have gotten lost. We might have to wait for the next birthday.
That air conditioning belt, I'll have to tighten it.
Oh, where is it located?
It's in the back, but I'm not going to tighten it right now. It's going to be cool enough pretty soon. I'm just going to turn the air conditioner off and tighten it in the morning. The coyote.
A coyote! Oh my goodness.
Maybe I'm wrong about that belt, because I have the air conditioning off and it's still squealing once in a while.
What's the little orange lever below?
It's the throttle.
Oh, that's the throttle. Oh, then the top one is the gear.
Yeah, it's
Do you plant different crops when you have the droughts? For example, for this fall seeding, are you going to look at a different crop rotation?
I might not seed winter wheat, but I don't know. No, generally, you're limited to the amount of crops you can grow because of the moisture. You can't grow high, a lot of things you can't grow.
Yes.
Although they're growing a lot more things than they used to. There's people growing canola and mustard.
Winter wheat is a fairly hardy crop, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's a real winter wheat area.
Has Grandpa ever seen, do you think, a year this dry?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I think in the 80s, like 80, 81 was real bad. I don't know.
What's sad is all the costs are going up, and then a lot of farmers have land payments, so it's making it really tough.
But this is just a pocket. This isn't a very big. I mean, there's lots of areas in Montana that have lots of rain this year. This is just a little pocket.
Really?
Oh yeah, you get down by Billings and Miles City and those areas, they have really good crops. Yeah, it's just. I'd like to do this back and forth because of.
The back and forth makes it so complicated for the combine drivers, though, because then you turn around and you look at your swath and you go, gosh,
yeah, but
which
you
way
see,
is it?
we're going with the rows now. When I start going across the rows, this header's going to go bump and bump, bump. And,
it's fairly bumpy now.
no, it's not at all bumpy. It's really smooth.
You're in the air seat though.
Oh, well.
So what is your favorite piece of equipment to drive during harvest time?
They don't let me drive combine, so I don't know.
Why not
My
combine?
pickup. My pickup is my favorite thing to drive during harvest.
Still your pickup.
Still my pickup.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Kate took my combine job away, but they never did let me drive combine. When I was younger, when the augers used to stick out and you couldn't fold back, I got ambitious during lunch and was cutting, and I ran one auger into the other and on both combines, and they both were smashing their heads. Stop and fix them both. My father was not very pleased.
And since then, you've never been known as a combine driver.
That's right.
That's hilarious.
Make one little mistake and they never forget.
I only break down the last day of harvest, it seems. Like the last day my wheel fell off, and then the last day of the next harvest, I had to dig the combine out every single pass almost. Well, thank you so much for taking me in the swather, Uncle Chris.
You're welcome.
And thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned a little bit more about how your food gets to your table. Make sure to like and subscribe. Okay, bye.
There you go, Kate.
Thank you. I just got out of the swather